What if the very thing she hides from the world, the quiet doubt she masks with a smile, was the exact key that locks her attention on you and no one else? You've chased attraction with compliments, with dinners, with constant availability, and it keeps slipping through your fingers. Here's the uncomfortable truth most men never hear. Attraction is not a prize you buy. It's a gravitational field you create. And the most strategic way to increase that gravity is not by exploiting a woman's insecurity, but by mastering your response to it. That's the Machiavellian move in love. You never weaponize her fear. You alchemize it into safety, desire, and bonding. You turn pressure into presence, games into clarity, and anxiety into trust. The advantage isn't about hurting her. It's about being the only man in the room who understands what to do with tension without flinching. A woman's insecurity rarely announces itself as, "I feel unworthy." It hides behind little spikes of sarcasm, playful tests, long pauses before a reply, provocative posts that fish for validation, or sudden changes in tone when she senses competition. If you react like every other man, overpraise, overpursue, overexplain, you confirm her fear that men need to be managed, not trusted. But when you read those signals with calm precision, when you learn the difference between a genuine need for reassurance and a loop of attention-seeking, you become the stable center in a world that spins too fast. That stability is irresistible because it lowers her cortisol, it makes her body relax around you, and it lets her nervous system associate your presence with relief and possibility. That's what attraction feels like on a deeper level, a shift from vigilance to curiosity. So first, let's define your frame, because your frame is the container for everything you say and do. Frame is the energy that tells her, "I am the cause of my life, not the effect." Stoicism called it the dichotomy of control. You do not control her moods, her phone, or the outcomes. You control your clarity, your boundaries, your pace, your attention, your standards. When you internalize this, you stop negotiating your value. You stop chasing, and you start choosing. Your calm is not passive, it is intentional. Your warmth is not needy, it is sovereign. This combination, sovereign warmth, makes you rare, and rarity is the most ethical form of scarcity. You aren't restricting her, you're filtering the world. Now, to use insecurity to your advantage means you understand it without becoming its puppet. You can spot 4 common patterns: fear of abandonment, fear of not being enough, fear of losing status, and fear of emotional exposure. These aren't flaws, they're human defaults amplified by comparison culture and past relationships. If she fears abandonment, she may test your steadiness by pushing you away to see if you return centered. If she fears not being enough, she may fish for compliments or compete with other women's image. If status is the trigger, she'll be hyper-aware of social proof. If exposure terrifies her, she'll keep conversations superficial just when you try to go deeper. Your advantage is precision. You don't throw generic affection at a specific fear. You match your response to the fear behind the behavior. When she tests you with a playful jab, "So do you flirt with every woman like this?" The insecure man rushes to defend, over-explains, or flips into arrogance. The strategic man smiles, holds eye contact, and says, "Only when the connection is this fun." Short, centered. You neither deny nor grovel. You assert the reality you're creating together. Playful connection. That single line reframes the test from accusation to shared flirtation. It shows self-trust. It shows you won't be steered by guilt. And it shows you won't weaponize her sensitivity either. You're not fighting the frame. You're leading it. When she withdraws or goes cool for a moment, most men panic into pursuit. Double texts. "What did I do?" Essays. Invitations stacked back to back. All of that signals you are regulated by her availability. The Machiavellian move is counterintuitive. Give space while increasing signal quality. You don't punish, you don't chase, you elevate. One message, concise and polarized, toward the kind of connection you want. "I enjoy how we vibe when we're present. Let's pick up when you're in that mode. I've got a spot Thursday that's perfect for us." You communicate standard, preference, and plan in one breath. You set a track for her to return to the best version of your dynamic. If she's just cycling through a moment of doubt, she will often meet you there because you made it easier to re-enter warmth than to keep feeding insecurity. Compliments are another battlefield where most men lose. Random flattery is cheap, and appearance-only praise amplifies insecurity by putting a spotlight on the very thing she micromanages. The better move is to aim your praise at what psychologists call effort and intention, rather than fixed traits. I like how you create atmosphere, small details, great taste. It makes being with you feel rare. You subtly reward her behavior and identity, the things she can repeat, rather than a snapshot attribute. This reduces her anxiety because it frames attraction as something co-created, not something she must continually compete to maintain. You are reinforcing an upward spiral. More intention, more presence, more chemistry. Now, let's talk about validation schedules. The manipulative side of the internet teaches intermittent reinforcement. Give a hit of attention, withdraw, repeat, to create addiction. It works the way a slot machine works, and it erodes trust. We don't go there. We use consistency and novelty intelligently. Consistency sets her nervous system at ease. Novelty keeps her fascinated. So, be consistent in your values and your basic responsiveness, and vary the settings and textures of your time together. Predictable character, unpredictable experiences. That combination deepens attachment without exploiting her uncertainty. It's persuasive because it honors her biology. We bond through safety, and we fall in love through surprise. When jealousy appears, maybe she mentions other men or posts a photo engineered to trigger competition. Your advantage is interpretation. Jealousy bait is often a smoke signal for, "Do you see me?" The unsophisticated man counters with possessiveness or silent treatment. The strategic man mirrors, grounds, and escalates to clarity. You like reactions, I like connection. If you want my attention, book me. DMs are loud, time together is quiet, and that's where I'm best. In one move, you decode the behavior without shaming her. Then you redirect to the channel where you deliver maximum value, your presence. You turn a trigger into a filter. Women respect men who don't bleed attention. They invest in men who invest with intention. Boundaries now. Real boundaries are not speeches. They are rules of engagement you enforce quietly. If she crosses a line, disrespect, chronic lateness, triangulation with an ex, you respond with distance and standards, not drama. I'm here for high-trust energy. If that's not where you are today, cool. We'll reconnect when it is. No anger, no lecture. You tie access to behavior. That's interdependence. Your time is valuable, and you will only build with someone who builds with you. Ironically, this is often the exact response that collapses her insecurity, because she discovers you won't punish or cling. You'll simply move in integrity. That is profoundly attractive. Let's address conversational leadership. Many insecurities thrive in the fog of ambiguity. The man who leads cuts through fog with specificity. If you sense she's hesitant to open up, ask questions that make disclosure feel guided and safe. What do you protect the most about your day is better than "tell me about yourself." What kind of attention do you find calming is better than "what are you into?" You're not interrogating, you're curating. High-quality prompts pull out the version of her that enjoys being seen without feeling exposed. Your advantage is that you create a context where vulnerability feels like elegance, not risk. Touch and escalation must always be ethical and attuned. Insecurity often shows up somatically. Tension in the shoulders, shallow breathing, darting eyes. You mirror her pace rather than impose yours. When the energy is aligned, mutual eye contact holding, laughter flowing, proximity closing, your touch begins at the edges, forearm, shoulder, mid-back, and a greeting hug that lingers a half-second longer than normal. If her body softens and she reinitiates contact, you escalate slowly. If her body stiffens, you step back without commentary. This responsiveness is not only ethical, it's magnetic. It signals that you are deeply present, not running a script. Safety is the gateway drug to desire. When she trusts you with her "no," she will give you a bigger "yes." Humor is a pressure valve. Insecurity creates pressure. Humor relieves it without dismissing it. Playful reframes turn a potential spiral into a shared joke. If she says, "I'm a mess," you smirk, tilt your head, and reply, "Good. I don't do perfect. I do real." In one beat, you reject the premise that she needs to perform for you, and you make space for her humanity. That's a subtle but profound antidote to insecurity. She's not being managed, she's being met. When a woman feels met, she invests. Social proof matters. not the performative kind, posting with a parade of admirers, but the grounded signals that other people value you. Be a man other people rely on. Maintain standards in work, fitness, friendships, and family. Women notice how others respond to you. If your life is a queue and everything gets a yes, you look available, not valuable. If your life is curated, you become intriguing. Your schedule is a message. Your hobbies are a message. Your body language in a room, upright posture, measured gestures, decisive movement, is a message. These messages calm insecurity because they communicate, if I'm choosing you, it's because I want to, not because I need to. Choice is the sexiest cologne a man can wear. Now let's decode tests. What pickup forums call shit tests are often just uncertainty probes. She's asking, can you handle my edges without punishing me? The untrained man treats these moments as combat. The strategic man treats them as choreography. When she throws a curve, maybe we should just be friends. Don't negotiate attraction with logic. Attraction is not a courtroom. Smile. Step closer or hold her gaze and say, friends don't flirt like this. Then pivot into something embodied. Come here. Guide her to a different environment or transition into a new activity. You neither beg nor banish. You lead. If she persists, accept it with grace and disengage. The advantage is your lack of reactivity. You're not trapped in binary outcomes. You're anchored in self-respect. Scarcity must be real, not performed. Manufactured distance creates paranoia. Principled distance creates desire. You don't disappear to create anxiety. You allocate your time to what expands your life. That means you will sometimes be unavailable because you have a mission. Purpose is the masculine nervous system's medicine, and women feel it. A man with a clear mission is less likely to suffocate a relationship with constant checking because his attention is already disciplined. Paradoxically, the woman who once sought attention will now seek alignment. She wants to be close to the fire that's going somewhere. Let's bring in persuasion science for a moment. Reciprocity matters. Give value before you ask. Commitment and consistency matter. When she invests even a little, honor it and build on it. Social proof matters. Be seen in high-quality contexts. Liking matters. Be genuinely curious and generous. Authority matters. Demonstrate competence without peacocking. Teach her something beautiful. Scarcity matters, but as we said, let it be authentic. None of these principles require manipulation. They require maturity. You use them like a craftsman, not like a con artist. Conversation-level tactics now become obvious. Replace approval-seeking with direction-setting. Instead of, do you want to hang sometime? Say, drinks Wednesday? 8. I want your take on a place with live jazz and a bartender who cares about the craft. Direction signals leadership. Specificity signals thoughtfulness. Your reason for meeting signals that this is not a time waste. When you're together, own your taste. We're skipping the crowded table. Corner booth, I like to hear you. That line communicates protection, preference, and intimacy in 8 words. If insecurity flares and she questions your intent, meet it with clear standards. I like progress, not pressure. If you're curious, we lean in. If you're not, we pause. Either way, I'm good. You make it safe to choose you because you're safe without her decision. Texting should extend the emotional arc, not replace it. Avoid essay-length messages. Use text to set up embodied connection or to anchor a shared moment. You looked devastating in that black dress is a compliment. The way you held eye contact across the table, felt like the room got quiet, is a memory anchor. Memory anchors feed security because they prove you're attentive to the experience, not just the image. Send fewer, richer messages. Let your silence be full, not empty. Full silence is the silence of a man who is doing things. Empty silence is the silence of a man who is afraid to say the wrong thing. She can feel the difference. When conflict arises, and it will, the Machiavellian move is not manipulation, it's containment. You contain the moment so it doesn't spill everywhere. Lower your voice, slow your breathing. Mirror her last sentence to show you heard it, then name the pattern. We're talking in circles because we both want to be right. I want to get this right. That distinction disarms a power struggle. Invite solutions. 2 options. We take a 20-minute reset and come back, or we pick one point and solve only that. Which feels better? You just gave her control in a structured way, which reduces insecurity while keeping you in leadership. That's adult polarity. She relaxes because you can hold tension without collapsing or exploding. Let's address the shadow tactics directly so you never confuse them with strategy. Negging is lazy, and it backfires by pairing you with low-status behavior. Gaslighting destroys trust and permanently damages your reputation. Silent treatment is a child's version of boundaries. Love bombing is a trauma bond strategy, not attraction. Withholding affection as punishment teaches her to hide her feelings. If you want a woman who chooses you freely and deeply, you cannot build that with fear. Fear may trigger a short-term chase. It kills long-term devotion. The objective is devotion. Her feeling that it is safe and thrilling to be herself with you. Your self-regulation is the engine behind all of this. Breathwork, training, sleep, deep work, cold exposure, journaling. These are not just wellness cliches. They are how you raise your baseline. The higher your baseline, the less likely you are to react to insecurity with your own. A regulated man can walk away from a disrespectful dynamic without theatrics, and he can lean into an honest connection without demanding constant proof. He compliments without agenda, seduces without pressure, and chooses without apology. That's the man women trust with their softer side. That's the man competition can't shake. Imagine this scenario because it will happen. She hesitates at the threshold between fun and real intimacy. Her eyes say yes, her guard says maybe. You don't flood her with arguments. You slow the moment down. I want you comfortable or not at all. You step back half a step. Her body will tell you everything. If she follows the step, you're aligned. If she doesn't, you shift to connection without escalation. Either way, she learns that with you, desire is never divorced from dignity. This lesson dissolves insecurity faster than any speech, because it's taught through experience, not theory. Here's the final refinement that separates amateurs from men who command a room without trying. You measure your success by the quality of the connection you create, not by conquest. You're immune to scarcity because you operate from standards. You never chase validation because you live in contribution. You don't need to be loud because your decisions are loud. Women notice the man who carries tension like it's light. They notice the man who can make a restaurant feel intimate by how he speaks, how he orders, how he attends. They notice the man who makes good people better when they're around him. In that presence, their insecurity has nowhere to metastasize. It melts, and in the melting, attraction accelerates. So use her insecurity by mastering yours. Use her doubt by becoming undoubtable. Use the tension by turning pressure into presence. The Machiavellian move in love is not a trick, it's a transformation. You transform uncertainty into polarity, hesitation into pursuit, and tests into trust. You don't do it with cruelty, you do it with clarity. From this moment on, speak less, but say more. Lead without forcing. Praise what is repeatable. Filter with standards. Escalate with attunement. And every time insecurity knocks on the door, let your calm answer first. Because the man who can hold her edges without losing his own center is the man she will choose, again and again when the lights are off and the world is quiet.